Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is going to be a very short clip, and then we're going to take you back to that last video that we made that came out last Thursday about my making sure that I had everything planned and everything all ready for our first week of school. That video, hopefully y'all noticed it was labeled part 1 because it ended up being so long and was taking so much editing. We decided to stop it at the end of where I was talking about Henry's school. And then we're going to pick it back up this week with where I started talking about Ella's stuff. I did not realize until I was done how long it was. And then my husband was trying to edit it and he's like, this is too long. He's like, it's taking too long. And there was a lot of editing to have to go into that video. So we're going to pick it back up. This one will be a little bit shorter than the last one because I don't think I talked as long about Ella's stuff as I did Henry's, but we'll see. So yes, hope you enjoy these videos. And yeah, this is just an intro letting you, this is part 2 of getting ready for a homeschool week. I can tell you that at this point, we're about midway in our first week at this point when I'm making this introduction, so that my husband can edit this together with that tonight and put it out tomorrow morning. But we are hopefully soon going to be at the point of being a couple weeks ahead for all of our days. We're trying to have Mondays be something about his talking, things he's doing is supposed to be Mondays. Tuesdays, we are calling Grocery Haul Tuesday. So I've got a couple of those ready ahead already. Getting another one ready tomorrow. And then I don't have anything on Wednesdays right now. Then on Thursdays, we're doing what I'm calling a chat with me while I do different things. Normally it's chat with me in the kitchen, but I felt like talking while I was getting my stuff ready, making sure my stuff was ready for school this year. So we did that too. And I also have one ready. She will be coming out next week where I popped in here a few times and talked about how things were going and what we were doing on our first day of school. Things are just kind of too chaotic and stuff for me to actually film what we're doing when because I have 4 little ones, 7 and under. It's really hard to film what all they're doing, and I don't want to film any of their misbehaviors because that doesn't need to be on here. It doesn't need to be. I want them to be able to watch these later one day and not be embarrassed or by any of that. That's not what this channel is about. So it just makes it, with their ages, it makes it really hard because they're all still in that phase of learning the right and wrong things and all that. So maybe as they're bigger, we'll be able to get bigger off the microphone. We'll be able to do more of the actually bringing you along for more of those things. My only other option is to voiceover. And with our editing system, we can do a voiceover, but then it doesn't let us edit it. Plus, then there's the matter of me trying to find time for me to be able to do a voiceover when it's quiet. It's almost never quiet. But I can do these little spots here and there. As you see, I've already got a little one who wants to talk to me or talk to y'all. So I basically am just finding small parts of my day where I can hop on here and say a few things and then go take care of stuff with them, come back, maybe say a few more things and come back. So anyways, all that to say, this is just a short intro for talking about getting Ella's school books ready. And hers were pretty much already ready too because she writes in her books, but I showed them to you and made sure we were set up. One thing I did forget to set up while I was doing that, and I had to do it yesterday, didn't even think about it till yesterday, was making sure her flashcards were ready. Because the flashcards that she needed for math for this year were set up for when Henry did 2nd grade because they used the same flashcards for years, for 1st and 2nd grade. They used the same flashcards and they're set up differently. So I had to reset all those up yesterday when her books introduced them. So that was something I did forget to do when I originally made this video. So that has since been done. We've also pulled out her flashcards for learning to read. What two words have you learned to read already this week? We learned the word some today, and so she might need a little bit more practice with that one. But so she's learned those two words, and then she spent some time looking at some books and seeing if she could find the words do and some. She thought that was kind of boring, just looking for two words, so I also told her to look for the words Jesus and love, and I've already shown her the similarity between do and to, and she figured that out super easy once I started to show her that. So back up, please, so people can listen. So then she had a little bit more fun with that because she's already knows how to read her name, most of her family members' names, and then the Jesus, God, and love. She's been known how to read those for a few months now. So we'll just keep adding to her list so far this year, and eventually she'll be reading. She can't wait. She looks at stuff and says, Mommy, I want to read it. I want to learn now. I'm like, you are learning, sweetheart. It takes time. We got to take it slow so that we learn it right. All right. So hope you enjoyed this video going over getting Ella's books ready for the year. So thank you for watching.
Goodbye.
So she has all Christian Light education. So for her, if we start our morning off with Bible, every morning we do. Well, she doesn't actually have a Bible lesson until Wednesday because her Bible, math, reading, and language all connect together. So it introduces this on day 3, and at that point, she will have this story and this activity to do. And I remember him doing this. It was super easy, and he had fun with it. She will have about a lesson a week. Her math, she has every day, a lesson a day. And let's see, 1, 2, 3 pages for most of those lessons. And she is quite looking forward to this. She loves to ask people math problems. So that's her math book. She will have that every day, and she will be writing in these books. I already have these books for Austin as well. I'm going to have to get them for him, I think, unless I decide to go with some other books I have on my shelf, because I do have some other books on my shelf, and then maybe I'll just get the ones of these that I don't have. But we'll see how I feel when we get closer to it, because I don't have his for first grade. When I had Henry in first grade, I also bought these for Ella and Austin, who I was pregnant with at the time. Her reading, she will be starting with this, learning to read. Now over the summer, we've been practicing the few sight words she knows, which are mostly names and Jesus and loves and things like that. She has learned over this summer to recognize the word is, because it can help make a lot of sentences. So she will have a lesson in this every day. And this is a little bit longer lessons than the math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages for the first lesson. Lots of various things in there that she will do. Oh, he's cockeyed. And then I don't have language here. She will not have language at first. She'll be starting with the learning to read books, and then language doesn't get brought in till further later. I think more around Christmas time or maybe a little bit afterwards. And then when she only has 1 book of these left, there's 10 of these. When she's on, I think, number 9 or 10, or maybe when she's on 10, I'm not sure. That's when she actually gets an actual reading curriculum gets brought in as well. So this will do her about the first half of the year, and then the other half. Her science, again, same as those, Christian Light Education Science 1, she will be doing 1 lesson a week, at least at first. And it's all fairly easy stuff. Let's see, 2 pages a lesson for most of them. And it's mostly deals with things like seeing colors, shapes. Section 2 is all about feeling. And that's just the first book, but she has 10 of these as well. So she'll be doing 1 lesson a week of that. So far, I have her scheduled to do that on Tuesdays. So they'll do art together on Mondays. She will have writing on Mondays. She'll do math and reading every day of the week, except Thursday, not on Thursdays. Monday, she'll have writing. Tuesday, she will have science. On Wednesday of that week, she has Bible. I'm not sure how it looks in September, but Wednesday of this first week, she will have her Bible book. When's she doing? Oh, Friday, she will have social studies. She is doing 1 lesson a week in social studies until that's done. And that is also, I believe, just 2 pages for that first lesson. Lesson 2 is a little bit longer. The first lesson is just getting you ready for the book. Lesson 2 is not a whole lot longer though. But and this one deals a lot with how family works and communities and things like that. Introducing all of that, which she had last year, but we're doing it again in there. And then, oh, this is her writing book that she'll be doing on Mondays. I think I changed that later. How did I do it in August? Nope. I left it that way. I don't have science written down for her on week 2. I have lesson 3 on the second week, so I think I just forgot to write it down. It's not purple, but it's blue too for there. But this manuscript, I can write manuscripts, so it's just for helping her with her penmanship. It even has a page where it shows them how they should be seated, and depending on if they're left-handed or right-handed. First, she'll do the first lesson the first week. So this bottom page here, trying to show it, I one-handed. Basically just making lines and circles. It's just one page for each lesson. And then she'll basically be practicing a letter each day and how to add it with some other letters. By the end of the year, she'll be doing things like this, copying sentences and things. Henry had a lot of fun with this book. He learned a lot about some different animals and stuff. So he did have a lot of fun with that. As we progress in her math, she will have more things to do. The counting book, she doesn't need it the first week. And she also does not need her calendar book the first week. But once she gets the calendar book out, I'm going to make copies of whatever she's doing for her calendar. And mostly has stuff to do with thermometer or tracking if it rains or things like that. All kind of things like that, different for every month. I'm going to make photocopy that page, and Henry's going to do it too. Because I know he'll want to, for one. He'll think it's fun. So, yeah, so I guess their books are mostly ready. But it's good for me, even I'd already done it. It was like a month ago when I did it because I was just so excited to sit down and do it. I needed to sit down and review them and make sure I know exactly what we're getting into next week, what we're doing next week, to make sure I remember. So I've now reviewed his books and her books. I have to put those away. I need to take a glance at the first few things in Austin's books as well, but his is not near as much. Actually, his stuff is not in here. These bottom 2 drawers are his more fun. Well, the bottom drawer has some stuff the baby can even play with, fun learning toys, and I'm planning to get some more things for that this year. This drawer has Austin's art stuff in it, so mostly coloring books and things like that. This drawer is empty at the moment. I think it's going to become one with my planners and stuff, but I also have a shelf over here. This is her school shelf. And this has books in it. So her books will be in the middle drawer. Her flashcards are all still in there. Her art stuff is in the top drawer. Bottom drawer is her workbooks that we're not using yet, but she will need them. This green container, there's another gray one under Henry's desk, and I have set up their desks. We need a little bit work on how they're set up, but Henry has a gray one of those under his desk, and same setup. Top drawer has his art stuff in it. He can get that whenever he wants. Middle drawer has his workbooks we're using now. We're going to be using once we start the school year. And his bottom drawer has an extra supply of notebooks and books that he's not doing quite yet till further into the year. And then on top of their desk, maybe I can get I'll try to get a small clip and have my husband insert it up here or something. But on top of their desks, they both have a small pile in the corner that's got a Bible and a Grandma Day notebook, and their pencil bag is on top of it. I think that works pretty good for right now. They both also at the moment have a stack of books on there, what they're using as fun school books for the summer. We do just a little bit each day. So they each have one of those piles. Austin's books, I have my binders here that I will put that are Austin's school books. And we will probably just take those 1 or 2 at a time, do a little bit here and there. He's going to fly through the dinosaur watercolor one, but the others will take more of our time with, and he'll do some art pages and things like that. I'll probably, whatever they do in here, I'll probably make him a copy of and let him do as well. So he will probably tag along for art class. And then here on this end and a few other folders and notebooks that I have. I was keeping my planner there, but it's been on my desk the last couple of days. My desk is a bit more of a mess. It's over here. I have stuff on it. Well, when I stacked all Henry's books on it there as I was doing that, but my Bible and stuff's behind there. I have a diamond art I've been working on. It's normally on this table while I'm working on it. And that in there's my notebook. And then some of my husband's books are up top of that desk. He doesn't actually have a desk. We can share this one. So it's just some of his devotion books up there too, as well. And my devotion books, things like that. I've got to find more time to read. I want to, but then I sit down to do it and I fall asleep. So I had to figure that out, and I want to figure that out. But so maybe this video was a little bit longer than I'd planned. But yes, I think we are well in hand for our first week of school start next week. I'm actually super excited. Henry, not so much, but I do think he's going to like looking over his new books a little more. And hopefully seeing that he doesn't have a ton in each book. I do think I picked some pretty good books for him this year that are going to be just not as much per day, but him still getting all the information he needs. That is my hope anyways, especially with math and language. Social studies, he's probably going to think it's a lot of reading, but we'll be doing most of that reading together. So that he's not going to mind as much. He loves it when I read to him. And science, he loves. If I'm not ready to do science, he may go ahead and just start it on his own. I'm not sure. We'll see. But so that's my planner. If anybody has any questions that maybe I did not clarify on or want to know more in depth of how I figure out exactly how much we're going to do a week, let me know. Well, let's see. I've been homeschooling now for Henry's going into 4th grade. Then he's done 1, 2, 3 kindergarten, which he did all of his kindergarten in 1 year. We did do 3rd grade 2 years, basically. We had a review year. 5 years we've been doing homeschooling, if you count since kindergarten. He did not do K4, K5. Well, he did them, but he did it all in 1 year. And then he did 1st grade and 2nd grade. Then he did 3rd grade. And he didn't struggle so much with the work itself, so much as some other things we struggled with. So we did a review year to try to help alleviate some of that. And then we found out he has diabetes, and I'm pretty sure that probably added to some of the stress because he was tired. He was way more tired than what I realized, apparently. So I'm hoping that with that realization and taking care of some of those things, watching his sugar more so he is hopefully not as tired, I'm hoping 4th grade will just go so much better. So we will see. That's my hope. That's my prayer. But if you have any questions on how you do that, I am still very much figuring all this out myself, especially with the different things that each grade brings along. But I have been doing it for a little while. And I do find, yes, I said I have my whole year planned out in that one notebook. And then I've done a month's worth in here. But believe me, a lot of changes happen as you go along, as certain things that you wanted to work one way don't work, and you have to reevaluate and refigure it several times throughout the year, usually, for me anyways. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I did not ramble too much. And please leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.